Good morning, Coneheads. It's Conehead Kevin here, and today we're gonna ride motorcycles. Gotta go. Hey, Coneheads. We went up to the Gibtown Bikefest this year, 2021. It was a great ride up. I'd love to give you some footage from that. There wasn't much footage we can give you, though. It was really foggy the entire ride. We spent about 3 hours riding up there. It was about a 2 hour ride, but we took back roads, went about 10 mile an hour under with all the fog, and stopped a bunch of times. Just really took our time on some of those back roads and had a good time. But we went up there. I'd like to show you some of the footage from the show that they put on up there, and you can go up there about any time and see that they repeat this show over and over all through the weekend. It's why Gibtown's kind of an awesome little bike fest they do. They had a lot of great vendors, as you can see. Somebody's in here in the steel ball, riding around in a motorcycle. Pretty nutsoid stuff that they kind of do here, which is funny. I mean, you have a big crowd here, and there's all kinds of comments around you all the time about how people could do that themselves. So sort of funny because I don't see anybody else getting in there doing it, and but it's definitely a good time. Um, the ride itself, again, I wish I could have given you some footage from the ride, but it was just so foggy that it just kept covering lenses on the camera and stuff. Um, but I went up there with about three other people. And as you can see in here, they'll start adding riders into this steel ball. So it's kind of a neat little thing. You get in here and ride around in circles. Um, Again, takes quite the talent to do this. Now this place, we went and we saw all kinds of vendors here. It really does have a lot, and there's a bunch of indoor and outdoor vendors. And you're obviously going to get festival food and everything. So it's definitely a good time to watch that. I'd love to play audio from the show as well. Unfortunately, we couldn't do that because they played all music that's going to be copyrighted and everything. So we can't really play that, or the video would be right back down. Um, it, Something you definitely want to see though live. You get two bikes in this steel ball flying around here, and it's not like they're going slow. They're really stepping it up a notch. Eventually, they'll put somebody inside the ball and stand in there while they do it. So I don't know if it's just crazy to ride around in there, or crazier for the young lady who goes and stands inside this thing while they do it. But hey, um, to each their own. I just appreciate the talent on motorcycles. Now, our ride, we went all back roads all the way up to this thing. A lot of people come to this from all over the place, all over the state. The crowd is really large here when the camera does pan around and you can see it. And then there's a huge indoor portion that was just full of people as well. Look at these guys going around each other in there. It's just kind of insane. But I always appreciate motorcycle talent and skills that some of these young people have on these motorcycles. This is not the kind of stuff that we do training in, and I always appreciate it when somebody pushes the limits like this. Here's one of the young ladies going up there to step inside that while the motorcycles go around her. Little bit crazy. One little mess up in that, and you're going to take somebody's head off. Wreck it 20, 30 mile an hour in there going around in circles and run into somebody. It'd be sort of insane. I've seen this event done at other places, and they put on this show every year at Gibtown. So it's definitely worth the drive. The vendors alone are worth the drive. I mean, you've been to a motorcycle rally, they're going to have vendors, and they're going to have food and all the normal things, but there was actually a lot of really good custom vendors at this place. Um, they had a bunch of the reflective clothing that you can buy, and suspension systems for different bikes. And the one who makes the suspension systems, they do that right here in Florida. So that's kind of awesome. And Michael Alex, he's a engineer, uh, and he takes care. It's Mike Suspension Technologies or something like that, or Suspension Technologies, I believe is the company, and they'll make custom motorcycle suspensions for all different kinds of things. And you can check them out at suspensiontechnologies.com. That's one of the vendors that I really appreciate there, because they make things right in Florida. So that's definitely an awesome thing to check out. And then Suncoast Reflective Clothing. That's another awesome vendor, which is another Michael, and he makes reflective safety gear and advertising products. So really awesome there, and that's reflectivebydesign.com. Again, that's reflectivebydesign.com. He makes really awesome clothing. He can do different logos and everything like that on your clothing. So if you have a little business and deals with motorcycles and stuff, he makes great clothing for that. You can see well at night and everything. Um, and then custom windshields. There's a place that does that there. Um, he does other stuff as well, but he does custom laser etching on windshield glass. Now look at this in here again, changing the subject again. I got three of these guys running around in here. That ball is not very big. There is not much room for error in this. One person messes up, and all three of them are going to be screwed inside this ball. But so I really like this. It must take a lot of practice to be able to do this, and a lot of trust in your fellow riders that are in there with you. You think riding side by side out on the street takes some trust? Yeah, get inside one of these things. Not something I want to particularly do. I'm too fat and old for that kind of stuff. Um, I really like motorcycle talent in doing rodeo kind of stuff, and in advanced training. We do a lot of advanced training, but I'm not about to train somebody how to get inside one of these things. That's for sure, because I don't want to do it myself. But anyway, again, back to that custom laser etching. So you can get different designs and stuff, even almost portrait type of designs, as long as it can be laser etched. And it's called Papa Jack's Custom Laser Designs, and he's right in Tampa, Florida. And they'll custom etch things on your windshield and everything. So, and it's unintrusive, and he even has like these LED lighting systems he can do uh, to make that shine, that so that custom laser etching really shines. And those are just a few of the vendors. I mean, there are hundreds of vendors at this place. This is a really big place. You can get all kinds of T-shirts and stuff. So it's kind of cool. Here's Johnny Rocket and Galaxy Girl, on a little custom platform that they made themselves, and it's pretty cool. I mean, you're not seeing any safety nets or anything like that under this thing, and they're still putting on a show. So I really like that. You get you know 25, 30 foot in the air, flipping around here, and again, just a good show, and it's a showman community, really. Gibtown is just full of showmen, and I really appreciate these type of performances. It's fun to get out if you're going to go to a bike fest and see those same things over and over. You got a lot of vendors. You're going to have some exhaust vendors. You're going to have the bike challenges, and you're going to have what's the best bike. That type of stuff is at almost all these events. But the Gibtown one, they put on the show, and they do it frequently. Like, so it doesn't matter what time you go. This thing lasts all weekend, and they just keep redoing the show over and over and over again. So if you can make it at any time during the entire weekend that the Gibtown show is going on, it's a great time to go, because if you just wait a little while, this show is going to happen again over and over and over again. So I highly encourage people to go to this. You wouldn't want to be there the entire weekend, because the crowds are just very very large, and it's a good time. So you can get in there, spend a couple hours there, eat some food, visit the vendors, pick out some things for your bike, and then watch a good show as well. And especially when the show isn't something that you normally see at most bike events. So it's something we really enjoy. And then the ride alone, you're going up there with some good friends, and you get a great ride. So um, again, it's another thing that I highly recommend. But they do all kinds of stuff here. There was some uh, bikes, bicycles, doing a little bit of stuff earlier. I really didn't put too much of that in there. I'm kind of a motorcycle fan myself, but they were very talented. You can see them at the end of this. They when they do the finale, they'll be involved in it as well. But look at this. This girl's hanging from her mouth, spinning around and stuff like. Oh, don't want to slip doing stuff like this, huh? So I really, again, I really enjoy this type of stuff, and I hope other people do as well. It seemed like the crowd was pleased very well during a lot of this show, and when these guys get to jumping the motorcycles too, the height that they get in the air when they start jumping is a little ridiculous for such a short and small little venue. That we were really impressed by it. We had a great ride up. We had a great ride back. The ride back was a little bit quicker. We stopped nearly as frequently, but not as much. But it wasn't foggy or anything, and you're able to get up to speed and really go for it. Couple little funny things that we saw on the way up. Is you could a bunch of straight up little riders scared of turning their motorcycle and stuff out on those back roads where there's not many curves in Florida, so people aren't used to them. So we were following somebody up there, got stuck behind them for a little bit, and even like 30-mile-an-hour curves, they were slowing down to like 5 mile an hour and not even leaning the bike at all. And then you see when you get here, you see somebody doing crazy shit like this. Big extreme difference in talent levels. I would have shown you footage too of all the bikes and stuff when we first arrived, but you could probably see that on some other videos as well. I really just kind of wanted to capture some portions of the show and let people see what goes on up here and that it's worth doing it. And I'm clipping through this show, like I'm not showing you much. Like look how high these guys are jumping. This is kind of crazy. You can see the landing ramp must be 20 foot in the air already, and then look how high they are above that. So they're really gaining some air here. And these bikes they smelt very very alcohol rich, uh, and it's a lot of power to kick off on a bike on such a short ramp like that to make this kind of jump. These guys have quite the talent. You don't want to mess up on doing something like this. It must hurt pretty bad practicing and learning that you can do this. I know that we tip our bikes over constantly. You're doing training, you're going to take it to advanced levels, and you're really going to push it. There's always a chance to tip a bike over and even get injuries. But when you're doing stuff like this, yeah, that injury factor goes up quite a bit. When you're this high in the air and making a jump like this and doing crazy stuff like this, flipping the bike over in the air, really impressed me. I always have a good time watching stuff like this. And you're going to go to a bike fest and you're going to see people on motorcycles doing stuff like this. Then it's worth the trip. Plus, it's not really about the destination a lot of times. It's about the ride there. I mean, you're having a great day just going there. We had over 5 hours of motorcycle riding this day. Plus, got to see a show like this. So it's definitely something I highly encourage people to get into. Go out and see these things. Take some weekends, travel around your state, get some seat time in, and you can find things like this to enjoy. And if you're going to go to a destination, you might as well go to something like this. And these things are all over Florida. There's all kinds of events and stuff. but there's not many like Gibtown. They're going to put on a show like this. So I highly encourage people to do this. And it's always like in January every year, so it's always nice and cool weather. Yeah, it's sunny and everything, but you know, for Florida, um, if you're gonna enjoy the ride, we can ride all year long. And this is January, and people up north are tucked in, putting firewood on their fire. And down here, we're out riding and taking a full day of riding, or going and seeing stuff like this, just having a good old time. So I highly encourage again people to get out and check this stuff out. Um, you can always find out where some of these events are with just a little bit of internet searching, finding out where bike events are happening in the state. So it's something that if you're going to be riding a motorcycle and you don't feel like you're riding enough, and you have a little garage ornament going on, and you're out there riding dozens of miles a year, hell, start getting out to some places like this, and you'll get some miles on your bike. You'll get to see a good show and have a good old time doing it. Um, they really get the crowd growing a little bit here. Again, I can't really show you or have you listen to the audio of this because there's a lot of music playing in the background that is copyright infringed. But they got the little bicycles coming out now, and doing a little bit of finale, so you'll see everything kind of going on at once here. And even these guys on these pedal bikes, they're doing some kind of insane tricks, while they're doing it. Um, so talent that I wish I would have developed. No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't want to get hurt like that. But there's obviously going to be some injuries on the way learning stuff like this. But hell, if you can get out and see something like this, go do it. Now there's a little bit of a finale going on here, so we get everything going all once here. We get Johnny Rocket up there with Galaxy Girl, messing around on their custom little platform again, which is kind of cool as shit, especially when he starts flipping upside down. And then these guys in these motorcycles are just crazy. Somebody in the steel ball still going on. Um, so I just have to say that if you want to enjoy some events in Florida, they happen all year long. It's great riding weather, and I highly encourage people to get out there and have a good time. Get some miles on that bike. Go to shows like this. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy the time on the seat. Enjoy some time out with friends. As you can see, I'll pan around here, and you can see how large the crowds go back pretty far. And nice outdoor area. And they got a very large structured buildings as well on the property that have all kinds of vendors as well. So all right, Coneheads, have a good time out there, and I will talk to you later.